I think we got this sorted out now. Good morning. We got Pilgrim back. He's updated his computer.
Morning. Bloody Microsoft. Hate them. Hate Microsoft.
Alrighty, well, how's your week been other than getting over the flu?
Yeah, it's whatever that disease is now knocking around that pretends to be flu, but it's something different.
Yeah.
It's hanging on. I've still got a bit of a chesty cough, and the house general's suffering. She's had it for about 10 days now. I don't know. It's just one of the. It's that weird infection virus, whatever it is. That's not
Yep.
COVID, not flu, whatever it might be. So yeah, and you forget as you get older, it knocks you out a little bit. So I spent the whole possibly 48 hours in bed last weekend.
Ah, jeez.
yeah, yeah, just dying quietly.
Well, I'm glad
How
you
are
feel.
you anyway?
Well, I'm doing okay, but I did throw my back out yesterday. Again.
No, that's not good. That's not
Yeah.
good.
Working out, just out on the porch, getting my push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, whatever. And it wasn't while straining it. I just bent forward.
That's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can lift an elephant every day of the week, and then you go down to blow the feather off the top of your ironing board or whatever you do. I know if you do ironing or not.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I was sitting down on a chair because I'm doing some chair core stuff.
Yeah.
Sat down in the chair and I leaned forward like 30 degrees and I went,
Yeah.
just like locked.
Whoa.
I'm like, great. And I'm like, well, so I kept going a little bit. And I'm like, nope, that's definitely. So I've been, I don't know, trying to find a comfortable position for the last day and a half. It's better this morning, not as bad,
Yeah.
but holy cow, man.
Do you take anything for it? Do you get anti-inflammatories or anything like that?
So for the last few times, in the last few years when it's happened, no. But this time I actually took some Motrin, some ibuprofen to try to knock down this, what is it, inflammation just a little bit.
Inflammation, yeah.
Not a bunch,
Yeah.
just a little. I took some yesterday and some today. I can't tell if it helps or not.
Well, if you're like me, you'll end up with a drawer full of medication. I've got tramadol, which is like opiate
Yeah.
stuff. I've got cocodamol, all sorts of stuff, and I've got stacks of it. I'll just pop a tablet a day now.
I try to stay away from it, so I don't have anything like that. But yeah, that sucked. We're still in the middle of the freaking.
Oh, how's that going?
So it's in that stage, especially in the kitchen, where you're trying to get all the little things put together, and it's just not done. You know, I've still got crown molding to put in,
all the minor little things
yeah.
to finish it all off.
and it didn't help that the painter went MIA for a couple days last week. He got sick too, so he had the same thing that's going around everywhere. So he was down for 2 days. He finally got in there and did, because I've got old casements for the windows, old wood, and over the years they got a lot of chips, and the old paint had to be sanded down. There were dings in some of it, so there was some Bondo work that had to be done to get it all straightened out and smooth. So he finally got all that crap done on Friday, and again, theoretically, checks in the mail, right? Monday, Tuesday, it should be done, but of course that doesn't take into account the crown molding, and I don't have any good reports on when that guy's going to show back up. And then
Crikey, O'Reilly.
the bathroom, my wife wants the shiplap, the wood thing that's 14,000 times more than just painting the damn wall.
Yep.
And the guy that was going to do that dude has a seizure about a week ago. So
Oh, crikey.
I'm like, what?
Where do you get your subcontractors from? From the old
Dude,
people's home?
no,
Is it from Florida's old people's home?
Look, man, all the guys are going to know this. Most of the guys who've dealt with this thing. I'm telling you, salt of the earth, the guys who do stuff like this, the wallboard and the painting and the construction and everything. But it seems like they're all drug addicts or alcoholics.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's wild, man. It's wild.
I think also you're up against it because kids these days are all about getting education and going to high school and getting a degree and in like nefarious subjects such as business management and blue sky thinking, don't they?
right.
So when it comes to the men and women with decent hand skills, who were, they're far and few between. So they're all old now. So you get all
Yeah,
these old
there's some of that.
geriatrics coming along, don't you?
Well, and it's the guy I'm working with is a guy we know, the contractor, and he's I mean, local guy and everything. The work's been fine, when it gets done and all that kind of stuff.
You sort
But
of have to build another 3 months into the build time, don't
well,
you?
he's got to work.
So,
He's got to work the subs he's got, right? I mean, he's the contractor. He doesn't do all the different work. He does certain pieces of it, but he's subbing out, like as all the contractors do. So you work with the people you work with, and when you're in a little town like this, sometimes the guys or gals that are really good at it also come with their own issues.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. True. That is true. That is true. Yeah. You're right when you say it's a small town. It's not like New York or somewhere where there's a 1,000 people out there willing to do the job.
Right.
So yeah, you sort of.
Now, on the other hand, it's easier to avoid the bad ones here because there's more word of mouth. Whereas, like you said, in a big city, you're really rolling the bones unless you really know somebody who can help vet that stuff. So you take the good with the bad, but it just I think.
Do you get the from the house general? Do you get the look that says, "I know it's not actually your fault because you've done your best, but it actually is your fault."
Dude, the look. Never mind the look.
Do you? You get the earache. I know you've tried your best, but actually your best is crap.
Let's just say,
bless
let's
you.
just say I'm getting my arse handed to me
Yeah.
on the regular.
And
On the regular.
Is there a lot of "I told you so"? If you got this done, this would happen, and this and this and this. And you're like, why didn't you do yourself then?
We talked last week a bit about the same concept, but I can come in and look and go, oh, he did that, that, and that, and I have a general idea of the time it takes. Like if I did it, I just times the time by 10.
Yeah.
I could do everything I looked at. I'm like, I could do that, but I would probably make a few mistakes early, and I would have to figure it out, and then I could get going. But it would take me easily 4 times the time they did it.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm paying people to do it theoretically.
Absolutely.
Theoretically, to get it done faster than I could, but at this point now, I'm kind of wondering.
Well, you sort of sit with your phone on YouTube,
Yeah.
going with the screws off and going, yeah, it looks like what it says
Yeah.
on YouTube, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not rocket science, but it is skilled. It is skilled labor that you have to. If you do it a lot, you get skilled at it, which is what I'm
Yeah.
paying for. But yeah, I can look at it. Yeah, that, and then. But if you just walked into the untrained eye, you'd be going. And of course, the house general is the untrained eye, right? She comes in. They didn't do anything.
But
I'm
the
like,
expert.
like, look, they did this, this, and this, and then she's like, ah.
Yeah. That guy's been here all day, and all it is a bit of paint, for crying out loud.
It didn't help when he didn't show up. Like I can't defend that, right?
No.
Right? Yeah. Did he show up? No.
Just who are you employing here? This is ridiculous. I could have done it myself quicker. Blah blah blah. Hello. Yeah.
And the fix, of course, is to call the contractor and yell at him.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
the
like,
way to do it.
That's gonna work. That's absolutely gonna get things done faster.
Dear, oh dear.
So that's where we are. We're in that. I said to turn the Christmas lights off because it's not Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
We're in the money pit movie zone where everything's stalled out and the
Yep.
the accusations and recriminations are now beginning.
Yes, but it's all heading your way, irrespective. It doesn't make any difference. And once the job's done, in another couple of months' time, whenever, you won't have any gratitude. It'll be, well, that took long enough, didn't it?
Yeah.
Long enough.
I'm
Still
cautiously
not done properly.
optimistic the kitchen will be done next week sometime. Actually finished.
And then it's what, the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathrooms actually come along. The one guy that gets in there and gets the job done is our Tyler. The tile guy.
Cool.
I mean,
At least
it's
somebody's doing something.
yeah, it's slow because we've picked the worst tiles in the universe. Small, like the hex shaped ones we got took him
Yeah.
3 times as long, which made me pay him 3 times as much labor.
He's got to be blagging that. He's got
Well,
to be blagging that.
he's like, I get paid whatever, man. If you guys want these tiles, I'm happy to put them down, but just understand it's gonna take me 3 times as long. I'm like, fuck. When she picked it out, I was like, okay, I got 2 options here. 2 options. Number one is I love it. These are fantastic, and soak up the cost, or go, hey babe, do you understand that what this is going to do to the budget? And I chose the higher road of, hey, those are awesome. Let me just figure out which kidney I'm going to sell.
Absolutely.
Oh man, streaming. Mary Brown. All right, George. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Bonzi back there said, yes, I've run into that here as well, talking to guys. They have a hard time. I got a couple of guys I know who have their sons, younger sons, working with them, but none of the sons are interested in taking the business.
No.
Like you said, they want to do it easier or whatever.
Yeah, they want education and learn about blue sky thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's getting done. Like I said, the tile guy, he's cruising. We got the shower has a tile on the wall. He's built the shower. The pan's in. He's got the tiles on the wall. He's put the leveler in. I'm a little bit fuzzy about leveler on top of leveler. I'm just kind of closing my eyes going, okay, I'll just ignore that. Let's hope it doesn't turn into crunchy bits under my feet.
Dear, oh dear.
You know, I had my reservations about leveler anyway, because it's wood and subfloor on one side, and it's the unholy concrete mass that we decided not to actually probably have to jackhammer out of a subfloor house,
Yeah.
which just was not something I wanted to deal with mess wise and cost wise. But they're like, yeah, we'll just level it out. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. And then he put a leveler in, and he's like, we're gonna need some more leveler. I'm like, oh dude, a thin layer of leveler on top of a layer of leveler on top of a floor. And I'm just going,
That sounds like that sounds like a future problem, but probably not. But just feels and sounds that way.
I'm gonna hope that no really heavy people ever walk on it. Maybe I won't go in there because I'm the heaviest person in the house, and I've lost some weight, so that may help out a little bit. Or maybe I'll have to walk in. I need to buy some snowshoes that will spread out my what is it, foot pressure or whatever.
Yeah. Pounds per square inch.
I'm just dreading that one day I'm gonna walk in there in the near future and I'm gonna hear, you know.
Yeah. That does not sound good. That does not. That sounds.
Yes, Gator's like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It only has to last, 20 years till I'm not around. So.
There you go.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So that's where we are, man. That's where we are.
Cool. So let's get on to tanks, shall we?
What else is going on? Oh, so channel wise, definitely been playing some more Age of Wonders 4. That's been awesome.
Cool.
But the big release here is 1.27. So have you got into it at all?
Yeah, sort of. I'm focused really on the new double-barrel Brit line, so I've not really got myself into everything else that's supposed to be part of 1.27. But again, having 2 accounts running, it's a time sink, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, you've got other lines you're working towards and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I dove into them.
Pardon?
I dove into them. I finished the Choppa.
Cool. Did you?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I didn't do? I had the tank, the Churchill 7, and I never played it to get the XP. So I'm currently grinding on both accounts to get the XP to get the chopper. That's where I'm at with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's like 60,000.
Yeah, it's not too much. I mean, 15 games or so will do, I guess.
Running a bit lower than 70%. Sorry to hear that, man. One thing really plays a 60 TP doesn't feel worse. Okay. But it was kind of bad anyway, right, Grendel? 3 months late, but finished yesterday. Odd Dog, I became Joe Country for a bathroom, mold, and remodel project. Did you? Congrats, Odd Dog. Nice. Nice. We're supposed to freeze, man.
Are you getting the really bad weather?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, not like zero freeze, but let's see what it's calling for tonight. Like, next 4 days, we may even get some snow, theoretically.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to Florida for snow.
They're calling
Nobody in the
Tuesday.
world.
Yeah, they're calling Tuesday. They frozen mix.
Oh, dear.
It's saying little or no
Like it.
snow accumulation, but it could get icy.
You're not selling me my retirement plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
My retirement plan is to move to Florida Keys and retire gracefully, play a bit of golf, get a golf cart, get an F-150 and pootle around town. I ain't going there if it's going to get cold. There's no point.
Tonight, 31. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 25.
Get out, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then 24 Wednesday, 30.
Well, what's that 0 centigrade? 32? 28? Something like that?
32.
32.
Yeah.
32 is 0, isn't it?
No.
So
Yeah, freezing. Yeah.
yeah. So you're below freezing.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes. And that's a problem here because we're not set up for that.
You're not set up for it. No, not
No.
at all.
We're not set
I'm
up
not
for
moving
that.
to Florida. You can sod off.
Minus 38 freedom units. Holy crud, A-tussers. Thing about that, the thing about that kind of weather is provided everything's good and the house is working and you're warm and you got food, you don't have to get outside, provided all that's good, it's a great excuse. You can just hang out inside and chill. You know? Play some video
Right.
games, hang out with the wife, watch some TV.
Yeah.
You know, if you got kids around, play with the kids. Even potential. Well, minus 28, I wouldn't go out. Minus 38, I wouldn't go outside. But maybe Eighth Hussars does. But you know what I mean. If you can get outside, get bundled up.
No, that's the point, Guido. If you live in a known cold place like Alaska or Iceland or wherever it may be, then you gear your lifestyle around that temperature because
Yeah.
it's always going to be like that. So you go outside at in fact, sometimes it's warmer at minus 30 something than it is at 2 degrees or something like that. You know what I mean? Because everything about it is all designed around it, so
Right.
it's livable.
Yeah.
So, but if you're living in somewhere, well, I know you don't live right down on the Keys, but if you're living in somewhere where it's supposed to be warm,
Yeah.
and you get somewhere like this, it's like I am not. I mean, I just hate the cold in the UK anyway. So I would.
Well, the hard
definitely
freezes
not.
hurt us because you get into the 20s here and it stays there long enough and it actually freezes. So we've gone through probably 3 or 4 winters where we haven't had a big issue with it, maybe 2.
Right.
With a big, because usually there's one good one a year and it kills off your outside plants and stuff if you can move them and take care of. So I'm gonna have to do that. I got to get my stuff off the porch, put it in my shed, build up a little light thing, which is gonna be really fun with my back the way it is. And then I'm gonna have to cover up the spigots that come out of the house just so they don't freeze up because
They don't freeze up.
probably be okay because it won't be that it won't go long enough that it'll cold soak under the house and actually freeze the pipes. But if it lasts long enough, it can do because the pipes are all
that's
exposed. Like they're all now. Turn the water on and let it run a little bit will help.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting, especially if it gets any kind of freezing mix and gets on the road because people around here. They are unprepared for icy roads, man.
You don't have snow tires in Florida, do you?
It won't bother me that much. I mean, I'm out of practice, but I've done it, so I have a general clue of how to handle it. Plus, my truck's got 4-wheel drive, so I'll be fine. But
Yeah.
you don't want to be out there anyway because it doesn't matter if you're good at driving. That's not the problem.
No, it's everybody else.
Yeah, it's them flying around the road like idiots, ramming into everybody.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting week. We do have tomorrow off, which is nice because it's
That's good.
It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as well as the inauguration of our new president.
It is,
tomorrow.
yes. He's just flown up from Florida, hasn't he? He's
Yeah.
on to DC now.
It's really
So,
cold
yeah.
in D.C. as well, so crazy.
Bloody hell, weather, eh?
Yeah, so we got that going on. Anyway, so yeah, got
What
the
about
chopper.
challenge?
Yeah, got the chopper. We are.
Alright.
How'd I do? It only took me 14 games to get the whatever the next one's called. What is it called? It's not the Contradictus. It's the Contrarian.
Yeah.
No, it's the
Something,
what is it called?
stupid like that. I give up. We're on tech tree.
Conceiver.
Okay.
The conceiver.
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 Yeah. It is the tank that creates conception.
I did okay with the chopper. I mean, it's only 14 battles, but I was averaging about 1,000 experience a game, mainly because I managed a 71%. That's not going to stay that way, clearly. It's probably more like a 55, 58% tank. Kind of interesting because the Contradictus has such a high alpha and a relatively long reload. As usual, the tech tree versions have lower alpha. That's kind of seems like the thing they do. They've always got the higher alpha, almost always have the higher alpha on the premiums.
Yeah.
But this thing's only rocking like 230 alpha for each gun. So even if you double blast someone, it's 460, which is pretty good at tier 7, but not amazing, you know?
No, it's fairly standard though, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's see, hits wise, it's actually pretty accurate because, as we've talked about with these double barrels, the Brit ones anyway, treat the double shot like an intuition skill. Like you're only going to use it in certain situations, and then immediately get out of it after you use it, so that you can get your mobility back and all that. And it doesn't change anything anyway, being in or out in terms of the reload time. It's just whether you shoot both. Well, sort of it does. If you shoot both, you're waiting longer because you have to reload both. But as far as increasing the time, other than that part of it, it doesn't do anything other than slow your tank down and make your accuracy garbage. So you want to use it when you're really close.
And to be fair, in the games that I've had, I've not heard, because invariably you get like 3 or 4 choppers per side at the moment.
Right.
Invariably, I've not heard people use the double barrel shot because you can hear the action going off, can't you? And I think I've heard it once, maybe twice in 30 odd battles that I've seen them.
You got to do it close.
So, people are not using it. I mean, they've obviously learned the lesson from all the double barrels is that it's not the be all and end all that you think it is. You know what I mean? It doesn't knock 2/3 of the health off of the enemy or anything like that.
Yeah, so if you're careful with it, it's a nice to have. I don't think it, at least in terms of the tier 7, and to a large extent so far in the tier 8, it's not quite as brutal as the Contradictus is. No, the other one, the Contradictus, which is
Contradictus.
Yeah.
Because they've still got that bug with the Contradictus at the moment, by the looks of it. They haven't fixed it.
Well, and that's the thing, Kedge. Like, you can shoot far away, and if you get a light tank like that and you use your HE, it can be pretty brutal. But the HE, I think, has really poor, relatively anyway, pen. Yeah, 42. And so the HE only ups the damage from 230 to 280, and it's got 42 pen, which is really kind of bad.
Yeah.
But in the right situation, 42 will go through a lot of the little light tanks that have very little armor. So if you 280 and 280 is 560 map in public, that's a pretty good thump.
Yeah.
Pretty good thump.
If you get pen, if you get, exactly.
Now here's the interesting thing about this tank that I thought, and they have been advertising this over the last few years of improving the stock grind, and they've done work on that. And what's fascinating about this particular tier 7 is it doesn't have an unlock for the gun. You start with the best gun, and there's not another gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And it's only got a turret, a engine, and tracks, and those I think were each 10,000. They were exact same amount. So it was 30,000 to fully unlock this tank, and then another 100 something I think to get the conceiver, which I didn't have to do because, as we noted before, if you've got all the tanks unlocked like I do, every time you get a mission done that gives you blueprints, it's one of the blueprints of the line you're on because that's all you got to get blueprints for.
Yeah.
So it knocked it down. I probably unlocked it at about 57,000. So
okay.
that's why it took me 14 whole battles to get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And-
what I'm looking at, about 14 battles, I think, because how many have I had in it now? This Churchill, yeah. To get
With the
What's
times,
next?
if you have times 5 stacked up, then that'll make it go really
Yeah,
fast.
I've never thought about that. Yeah, yeah, you've got the time points because it's only 110,000 for the conceiver, isn't it? For the next one up.
Yeah. And that one, like I said, it came, by the time I was done getting blueprints from missions and stuff, the dailies and whatever else gives you blueprints, I was down to 57, 60,000. So I unlocked the conceiver in 14 battles. For the crew is exactly the same through this whole line, and it's the same as your Contradictus. So if you have a Contradictus from Christmas, it's the same crew setup, so you can just move them. And if you have a Contradictus from Christmas, you trained your crew in the Contradictus because that's all there was. So now you're going to shift it over to one of the other tanks. So what I did is I took my Contradictus crew, put it in the chopper, did the chopper, and then when I moved to the conceiver, now that better crew's moved on to the conceiver, and I built a new crew for the chopper.
Right. Okay. So you just because you just using gold to
Move them.
move them. That's it.
Right. And remember, the crews are free, the new crews. I think I might have taken one special character. Yeah, I put Segan, and I put the Iki Boo, and then I just got 3. I started putting them in. I went, you know what? This is for the chopper. Why waste all my special characters for a tier 7? Yeah, I'm going to do a 100 battle challenge in it. So once I put those good crew members in, I just grabbed some other guys. Although Perry might be, I don't remember now. Oh, he was one of those characters you get that doesn't have a face, but it's a special character. It's a reward character.
Yeah.
And then these two are just whatever. It's the 2 loaders. So I put in there. Iki Boo. Iki.
Does he
Boo.
come with a voiceover?
Mm,
Oh,
I
he's
think-
not a commander, is he?
I think Saigon has a voice, does he not? Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. I think he said something there. Can't hear it.
Do you know what?
He's got one though.
While you were talking, I've just managed to get enough XP to get the chopper. There we go. Done.
There you go.
Thank you.
Nice. Remember with these that when you get rid of the old modules, sell them off. Speaking of, we got there's a module thing we'll get to in a minute. Based on the 1.27. So I think that's pretty much it for channel news, man. So I'm kind of working on the Brit tanks. I'm still working on the Squall. Getting to 100 battle challenge. We're sitting at 57%, 54 battles. So this one's going a lot better. My average experience sucks at 776. That's a little disappointing. And my damage isn't great either at 945. But I'm figuring it out. Definitely figuring it out. I like it. That's a pretty fun tank to play. I don't think it's particularly amazing.
I was going to say, you can sort of come across tanks that people just don't rate, but if you find that you like the play style of that tank and you get on with it, because there's been a number of tanks that I play, like the G-Sword tank. I actually like that. I'm on the EU account.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Something like 64% win rate at the moment,
Yeah.
albeit I've only had about 30 battles in it, so it's not a huge sample size. But I actually like the play style. I enjoy the tank. People are going, "Oh, it's crap," because it's not overpowered. Well, I think it's cool. But so it's like that, isn't it? You find a tank that sometimes people go, "Oh, that's shit," but actually it's not shit for you.
Trying to find where the G-Sword tank is living in the rankings, but it's tier 9, right?
Tier 9, yeah.
Where is it? Or is it an 8? No, it's a 9, right?
Yeah, it's a 9.
I don't see it. Where is this thing? Oh, it's a medium. That's why. It's a medium, isn't it?
Where are you looking in there?
I was looking at the heavies, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it lives in the basement with the patent tank.
Do you see? No, people are going write it off immediately because they look at the stats. But
Holy
I'm
crap.
rocking 60% win rate in it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the most played based on it was free for Christmas. It's got a 45% win rate. It's a -2. It's almost a -3 win rate differential.
I'm probably going to get my arse dragged right down to that level, aren't I?
Over time, probably yes. Its
Yeah,
DPG
yeah.
is 952.
Oh, crikey.
Literally half of the top two,
Oh, dear.
the KPZ and the UDES 03. That's wild. That is so bad. Well, I think, yeah, because was given, the problem is it was given to a lot of everybody. So you got people who don't even have tier 9s playing it, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So there is I guess I should show everybody that there is something to be said about there's a lot to be said about who's playing it when you're looking at these stats, especially in a special case like the patent where it was just given to everybody in the game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of low tier players playing it because was just a free tank and it was Christmas and it's a premium and yada yada yada. So that is going to affect it, but still that's pretty bad. Is the Rambo showing up? What is it? It's a heavy, right? I don't think it's got stats yet. I don't think it's been long enough. So is it called an M103M? I think. I don't think it's got any stats yet. Probably in another few days because it just came out. Yeah, I don't see it here. Yep, next week I think its first stats will show up. I think maybe. All right, where's this thing? There we go. Cool. All right, so I think that's it for channel news, my friends. The struggle continues. We will continue attempting to finish the remodel. I will continue to play the double barrels. I should have a chopper review out this week. That's my plan to do that later today. And then followed by a conceiver when I get done with it. I've already got, where am I with this thing? So it's unlock wise, it does have a top gun, but here's the good news. You can, as you can see right here, put the gun and the turret on without worrying about the tracks. So you don't need the tracks. In fact, if you wanted to just go to the contender and not do those two, you could. I will unlock these two though, just to have a fully unlocked tank and see how it goes, but it's a little bit slow. Equipment wise, fellas, what I've done is I did the same thing for both of them. Hardening, vert stab, and turbo, because they are pretty slow. Turbo gets it around a little better. Vert stab to help out with all cases, more or less, of gun handling. And hardening to chuck a few more hit points on there. All that good shit. So once you unlock your field mods and get another setup, you could throw another setup on there if you wanted. Obviously. I bet the Rambo tank's pretty bad. Seems like a lot of sub just dropped the gold. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I see, again, that goes with who's playing it, isn't it?
Yep. All right, cool. So, how about we chill a little bit? There's actually some changes because it's no longer Christmas. It's no longer all about the boxes. Slow. Wonder how long this is going to go.
Your battery's lasting forever, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. Hopefully it bursts in there and causes an unholy mess. The shill is on, my friends. The shill is on. Let's see what we got. Oh, no, that's 1.27. There's a few tanks for sale in here. We've got kind of interesting ones, actually. The T44-100. It's all right. The E75 TS is a pretty decent, just slugging heavy, premium kind of guy. The last year's XM66F, which has been overshadowed by the XM57 or whatever it is from this year, but that's an okay tank. And then we've got the AMBT, nice little autoloader, and the Tornwagen, okay-ish hold down tank, but probably not worth $45 to be honest.
No, that's a lot of money, isn't it? A lot of money.
Right, Grendel? Same thing. We always talk about it, but raise your hand if you've been buying tanks from the shop. Anyone do that anymore?
I don't know. There's that many you can get by not buying.
Yeah. Bonds, gold, events. Yeah. Man, I wonder when the last time is I chunked down a bunch of cash for something in the... I can't think of it.
I can't think of...
Other than buying boxes for
yeah.
people, that's it.
Yeah. What is that?
Oh, Kedge bought a Prague. There you go. Yeah, it's like there may be that one tank or two tank that you're like, yeah, I'd really like to have that. I'll just chuck 45 at it so I can have that
Yeah,
tank.
yeah,
That's all
yeah.
cool. That's all cool. And I didn't have to worry about that for a long time because I got so many of them from Wargaming. That there are now tanks. There's a decent collection of tanks I wish I had that I don't have now. But
Yeah.
I don't think many of them are shop tanks. It's more like Bond tanks or Clan Wars tanks or whatever this thing is we're doing now. What's it called? Onslaught tanks,
Yeah.
which I considered once again doing, and then like I don't have time for that. There's a couple tanks. I'd like to get the Concept 1B or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple that are reward tanks that I'd like, but it's not going to happen is it? Unless you get involved. In
I
that
know.
sort of stuff.
Yeah. Gold stuff is standard. There's I guess they're having another one of these pro season things. Season 2 is starting. So you can buy I don't know why you would, but okay. The teams, I guess the teams get a piece of this action. Don't know. That's whatever. It's people like that, go for it. I don't understand it, but there you go. They don't sell ones I want like Gold 59, Kanonen 90. You want the Kanonen 90? I wonder if I have
Well,
that.
yes, each to his own.
I don't think I have that one actually. Now that I think about it, let's find out. TD at tier 8. Nope, I only have the 105. Yeah, I would actually like that too. I don't think I'd buy it though. I would like to get it though. It's awful. Easily one of the worst premiums Wargaming ever put out. All right, that's it, man. The 3D style. So that's pretty much all that's going on in the shop, my friends.
Yeah.
There is actually a mission of some significance in the missions tab, and that's the Jacked and Relentless.
Yeah, that's
So-
looking cool, actually.
So we've
Yeah.
got so good old Rambo. And this does take a little bit of grinding. It's all damage, but it gets more and more. So you are going to grind a bit. And the final thing is actually not bad. These credit reserves are good. And as this it's another 2D style, so whatever. But it's got some doodads. There's another credit reserve right there. Nice. So it's not a bad deal, but you do have to do a lot of damage over time. So that's actually ends today, tomorrow morning. So today's your last day to knock that out. Looks like I won't be finishing that. Too much. Sad to say, Kedge knocked it out. Good job, man. Good job. Yeah, buy maps. There is news on maps. Coronal Potter. We'll look at that in a moment. There's good news on maps. They're working on some. So it's not good news on a new map though, so I guess it's not that good of news. Yeah, Super Ensk, exactly. Sand River, Ensk, and Fjords. Yeah, there's not new maps. So that's going on. We have obviously Battle Pass,
Yeah.
which do you guys
Have you
remember?
bothered with that?
I did. I bought it. I mean,
Did you?
I'm using the house's money, so I'm not that worried about it. So
Yeah.
it's 3,500 though.
Yeah.
But I saw that. I'm like, well, usually it's 2,500 for the regular battle pass. Was it? I think it was 3,500 for the last time they put a big tank at the end of it. Is that? Do you guys remember? I don't. At first I went, oh, that sucks. They increased the price, and then I went, no, actually, I kind of recall paying 3,500 for one of these special battle passes, the Mara Pass. It does, Kedge. Yeah, it sounds like it was. I think it was 3,500 last time we had a Mara Pass, Marathon Battle Pass thing where there was a tank, a Tier 9 tank at the end.
Right.
Pretty sure. Other than the bonds and bounty equipment, doesn't really. Yeah. Well, I'll play. I've only done 3 stages, so I'm already behind the power curve. You really need to do about 2.5 a day, 2.25, kind of thing. Because you only have till January 30th, guys. So that's about 10 days. Worst version of a med tank, and the crew isn't even 0 skill. Oh, isn't it? Oh my gosh. This made me laugh though, Pilgrim. They called. Oh, Jacked and Relentless. That's not where they said it. Where did they say it? Talking about Rambo. talking about glory and whatever. I'm like, glory has nothing to do with Rambo. That's not.
No, that's not.
The story
that's
was
not it.
the story was anti-glory out of war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, Rambo is there, and I think that's it for missions and specials. Let's see. Yeah, 3,500. There you go. All right. Awesome. So let's take a 5-minute break, Pilgrim, before we roll into subjects du jour. But we got info on the Tiger line that was changed that we'll get to. We got the new Brit line we can discuss. I have another question for you guys when we get back about, we did this last year, I think, about the same time. But think about, while we're on break here, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it right now. So think about this while we're on break, and you too, Pilgrim.
Okay.
What are the low-hanging fruit things that Wargaming could fix right now? And you can say matchmaker and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about specific stuff.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Put all the tanks in the Hall of Fame. Right? All the current tanks, put them in the Hall of Fame.
Just
That
make
kind
it
of
work.
that kind of fix. Think about those. Think about those, and when we get back,
Okay.
I'll collect a bunch of those. And it's fine if you want to say rework Matchmaker. I'm like, okay, got it. If you have a specific thing within Matchmaker that they could actually just do, that's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. We'll be right back.
Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Now in the shadows came a mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido, to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts, and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what? If you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell, to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain man, to teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers his words are true. Guido is the man, big and gruff. He used to fly jets, but now he does the tanking stuff. hummingbirds aplenty. But he saw the need for the Wat community to have a guru and lead them gently. Down the road to Unicom land will die, trying hard in the sand. Guido is his name, Tanky is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! So we broadcast his message far and wide, using YouTube, Twitch, and various means, to lead you to the promised land of WR. Win 8 and damage counts. That a mortal man is only stuff of dreams. Win your flank and then go back, was his mantra for the pack, to which they shouted, "Yes, bossman, that we will. Win our flank and then flex back." Guido is his name, Tanky is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Now in the shadows came a mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido, to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak.
All right, we're back. Sorry that took a little longer than I expected, but I had a slight change of mission. I walked through the room where the house general was and received orders.
Yeah, you can't get away with that, can you?
Can you give me a cup of coffee? Good morning, Bytor. How you doing? All right. Hey, I haven't seen this vote thing. How's I
You
played?
must do.
No.
At the end of the game, it comes up with thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs level. You
Where?
click on one of them. At the
Where?
end of the game, on your before the cards show up.
No, I'm not getting it.
You're lucky.
I don't get it.
don't know
I
if
have
you
not
can
seen
disable
that.
it. I don't know if you can disable it or not.
It's on the card? Okay, so I just haven't paid attention. I did play a game. I played a bunch of games. It's not very obvious? Okay, good. So I just haven't paid attention.
Cool.
All right. I thought it would be like a, hey,
No. It's like it's a little banner at the bottom.
it's somewhere in the card. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kedge and I were in a game. I had an awesome team. My team crushed his team. It was amazing.
Not. Oh dear.
I don't remember if it was the chopper or conceiver. Was I in the conceiver? I don't remember. But anyway, another guy that was in the same tank went right. It was on Himmelsdorf. He went right down the banana road and drove right into their cap and just
Great idea. That's the way to do it.
with very predictable results, I might add.
Did he cap out then?
He did not.
Well, he did.
It did
No,
not
he didn't.
work.
Oh, I try that every time. Never mind. Bless you.
Oh man, can I tell you how good that felt on my back?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Man, that was awesome.
Right, your setup for the chopper.
Chopper.
But I'm using experimental equipment, so I've got experimental turbo, experimental hardening, and experimental accuracy improvement with a turbo directive. What's your setup?
The same, but I don't have the tryhard stuff on.
Do you not use directives?
I do. I just didn't think about it.
Okay.
I guess kind of for my reviews, I generally try to just use regular equipment, just to kind of like.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I have noticed that your directive box is often empty.
Yeah, that's mostly just because I'm lazy, I guess.
just don't click it. Oh, I try hard every time, but
I definitely have tanks where I put directives in it, although I can't find one now.
Sure.
Like Manticore. There you go.
Oh, yeah. You max that out, absolutely, yeah.
100%. It's not that I don't believe them or like them. It's just that sometimes, and I think probably for it's contradictus. For my reviews, I try to do just basic equipment that everyone would have
Sure.
have
Yeah,
laying around.
that makes fair. Yeah, sense.
The Pregnator at Adis. That's funny, actually. I like that. The conceiver, the pregnant. Gotcha. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see what he's doing there.
All right.
So what would you call the contender then? What would a contender be? What's the nickname for a contender?
Rocky.
Rocky. Yeah, that came to mind straight away
Yeah.
as soon as I saw the contender.
Rocky.
Yeah.
The try harder. All right. Tiger Line, fellas, you have a bunch of modules in your depot if you had the Tiger Line unlocked because they got rid of a bunch of stuff. From what I can tell, somebody fix me if I'm incorrect in chat. I think you can sell all of that stuff. They just took it off and put it into your
Yeah, I've just
depot.
done it this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so check your
Can't sell it.
depot
Yeah.
for if you have the Tiger Line unlocked and sell all that crap. There's also some
And the ammo as well because they've stripped the ammo out if they got rid of the gun.
there you go. The contraception.
ammo.
Contraception is the premium. I see. Okay. The Pregnator and the contraception.
Yeah, it's the IVF. It's the IVF of the tank world, isn't
Yep.
it?
And I think there's a couple. I don't know if they've been sitting around. I think there was a couple maybe Polish line stuff in there. Maybe the 60 TP line has a few things you can sell that they streamlined. So everything, I'm pretty sure everything that's in your depot, if you haven't cleaned it out in a while, I don't know what you have in your depot. But if it was clean, look in there. All that stuff can be sold. It can be sold.
It's sold.
Sold
Similar to being sold, but sold.
right.
Yeah, I get it.
Sold. All right.
Sold.
So I'm going to go back in chat. Put it in. If you already put it in, do it again. What are some things that you think Wargaming could do that are low hanging fruit? All right, here's the three I came with, Pilgrim. Number one is include all the tanks in the Hall of Fame. That theoretically should be pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it would be difficult. Just put them in there.
Yeah.
All right, this one is maybe harder in terms of the way they do it, but I think it's time to nerf the BZ-176.
Yes.
Are we all in agreement? nerf the show friends in your team list. Okay, hold on. That's easy. Let me add that on there. Friends and team list. I like that. I like that. +1 matchmake. All right. See, Chrono Potter doesn't want to listen to what I said. He wants to go for the big fixes, but I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it in. I don't happen to agree with that, but that's fine. Where's the plus? There it is. Plus
It's on the keyboard.
minus, yes, 1 matchmaker. I don't think that fixes a whole lot, Chrono Potter, but we're not going to debate all that stuff right now. We're just looking for, what's the word? Brainstorming at this moment. Okay, so maybe sellable decal filter.
Yeah, that was one I was thinking about. Get rid of all those decals.
Sell all decals.
Yeah.
Filter for decals. Filter for sellable decals. All right, I like it. Stuff their deck. Okay, odd dog. All right, that's.
That's fair enough. I'd like to see the visual of that, actually, but there you go.
Yeah, sell more decals. I got that, Kedge. I'm with you on that one. I put sell all decals, but maybe they don't have to be for silver. They could be, I don't know, trade decal. Didn't they do a trade recently? Trade? I don't know.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Trade decals. Trade decals, sell them. Something to get out of the garage.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. Emblems as well. Same thing for emblems. We'll just do that for both.
Sure.
Decals, emblems. Okay. What else? Sell all filter for shells and equipment from depot. Okay. For ammo and what? Ammo and equipment. Okay. That would have to be broken down a little bit, I think, because there's several types of all that, I guess, is what I'm saying, especially on the equipment side.
Yeah.
2 ammo options, basically 1 and 3. I'm not sure what you're saying, Major Rock. You want to get rid of HE or something? Only 1 and 3. Oh, what you're saying is get rid of premium. Get rid of the special round? Man, I think that's one of those things that is a much bigger deal than a quick fix. Because I don't know how the game's balanced, whether it's balanced off of standard ammo or premium. I think it's a mishmash of both. They are attempting to straddle those two lines, and it is a problem for sure. Get rid of premium. That's all everybody shoots, yeah. Well, you'll get rid of standard round, make it premium. Point on that one is you would have to go one or other, doesn't matter, and then adjust your armor from there.
Yeah.
They're
That's
never.
probably a bigger adjustment.
It's just never going to happen.
No. Get rid of all the rental tanks. You can't get rid of them unless you play them, and then you can only purchase most of them. You can't just delete them off your carousel.
Say that again?
You know, you get rental tanks. They give you a rental tank,
Yeah.
and they give you 25 battles to play it. Well, if you don't touch them, they just sit on your carousel. You can't get rid of them, but you have to play them to be able to get an option to either get rid of them or buy them. And I don't particularly want to buy them. I just want them off my carousel.
So get rid of rentals you still have battles in and don't want.
Yeah, that don't want. You keep coming up with purchase. I don't want to purchase. It's got a remove option on there, but it's always greyed out.
Yeah. You can hide them, that's true. That's true.
You can, but it's just they sit there. You know what I mean?
So here's another one for an example. So include all tanks in the beta or in the Hall of Fame. It's been beta for 8 years. That should actually be embarrassing for Wargaming.
Yeah.
Like they should be embarrassed that a section in their client has said beta for 8 years and they haven't added a single damn new tank in since they put it out. They should be embarrassed by that. As developers, they should be like, this is dumb. Why are we being so dumb? I can't even wrap my mind around it. What? Because look at this. this is what actually cracks me up about it. Well, a lot of it cracks me up about it. We go to service record, and we go to their ridiculous Hall of Fame. We go to vehicles. Maybe, Kedge, could be. And we go, they have like premium. They'll have a premium button. Dude, these are the premiums that are, is everybody's premiums the same? When you go to that, does it say Scorpion, Progetto, Lerva, and T26C4? Or do you guys get a different 4 than these? But it's been these same 4 since the beginning of time. Grindel, I've never even seen this before. That's all right. You would have no reason to go there. Because it's beta. Then if you go to new, this is great. The Progetto 60TP Standard and EBR1, these are the new tanks, according to them. Yours are different, Jimmy. I wonder if they're because of things you've played or I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason of why these are here, to be honest. I don't know. If you click on it, it goes to that tank, so I don't know. And then if you go to Tier 10, it's these tanks. The IS, the Super, the Patton, and the Batchat 25. Yes, Eric, the EBR is brand new, man. Well, it was when this came out. And they're still updating stuff on it in terms of the points, but there's no... I wonder if you can search... Can I look at... Wait a minute, this will be interesting. I never really considered this. I bet they're not here, though. Are they new? No, they're not. So, it's got a search, but they're just not here. You can't even look up the Contradictus and all that, because it's not there. This hasn't been loaded into this thing. The Gonzalo and the Caliban and the Charlemagne, these are the only Brit heavies at Tier 8 that are here. What's another relatively new line? Oh, the Czech. Let's go with the Czech light tanks. Let's see if they're updating that at all. No, Czech light tanks, no existy. So whatever it was, they stopped updating it. Who knows when it was. But more or less, I think when they put it in. So that needs to be done. And here's my third one. Can we please, for the love of God, give assist for damaging wheels on stupid wheeled tanks?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Right? Why is that not a thing? How has that not been done? Why was it not done at the beginning? Why are those things immune to people getting assist other than spotting?
There is no rhyme or reason because it's a mechanic in the game for everything else. For everything that's got a track, it's a mechanic in the game. So why are wheels accepted?
Right. If you get slowed down, that's the interesting thing on the engine. I hadn't considered that, Grindel. I hadn't considered that.
Oh, engines, yeah.
And I suppose that's maybe their argument against doing it for wheels, because it's more like a mechanic of engine damage. But I think the engine thing is whole nother ball of whole nother Pandora's box. But I definitely think if you damage the wheels on a stupid wheel tank, then you should get the assist if it gets hit after that.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, you might aim at the wheels to slow them down. Not really. Nobody does that. But anyway.
But still, it's the same. If you get assist for track damage, you should get assist for wheel damage. Simple. It doesn't compute.
Yeah. We talked about it early on a while back when they came out, and it's just something I hadn't thought about. But I don't know. I'm not sure what tank I was playing. It was a heavy, and a wheel tank was hauling ass across the field, and I shot. And of course, I didn't pen it. I didn't do anything but knock its wheel down, and then it slowed down. And I had just got a bunch of assist off of another thing. And then someone hit it, and I looked at it, and like, no assist. I'm like, oh, that's right. You don't get assist off of that. Because I was thinking, ooh, I'm going to get a little assist off of helping slow that thing down, but you don't get it. That's when you close the screen door, Coronel. Shut the front door. All right. As they say here in the South. Working as intended, Wayne. What else? Do you guys have anything else? Fuzzy Naval. They do matchmaker based on tanks roll, support heavies. Sometimes. Do they matchmaker? No, they don't. But there's some special cases. So the what do we got? Special cases. They do match artillery. Rarely do you have more artillery on one side than the other, so they match artillery. They match wheeled tanks, the French ones. I don't think the British ones. They match French light tanks. They do not match double barrels, and that's one of the things that I'm starting to see that can become very painful. And it's been that way for a long time. But if you get at some of these double barrel, Skoda T56 with the 2-shot fast, blah blah. You get, your top is a bunch of those kinds of tanks, and then your other side is all cyclical average tanks. You got a tough row to hoe.
Yeah, it's a disadvantage, isn't it?
It is a disadvantage. You have just plain old more alpha potential, and if you get to the brawl, and those guys are in a position to hit you a couple times with those double shots and whatnot, you can be so far down on hit points so fast that that snowball is on.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one for me right now, though, I don't like that very much. I wish, if you have 3 Contradictuses and 3, let's just be ridiculous, but say you have 3 Contradictuses on top of one team and you have 3 AMX 65Ts on the other. Just to make an obvious example, why not just slide one of them across? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah. The matchmaker worked in that much detail. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. I think it does by type and by tier. That's it.
Yeah. All heavies are the same, except for some of the special cases. There are some, like I said, the French wheeled tanks. They match. They're not matched against other light tanks.
Well, if you look at the German VK Tier 6, I can't remember the full name of it, but it's a VK. It's classed as a heavy, and it gets put in against regular heavies, proper heavies. I mean, it's not heavy. It's not heavy in any shape or form. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, Grendel, and that's the Pandora's box. That's the elephant in the room. How exactly they would go about that, but we do see that too much. And here's the other big one. Has anyone hit on it yet? What's the other big one? I'm going to give it a potato. You guys type it in. What's the other right now big one that is causing serious matchmaker issues? And I'll give you a hint because it's kind of a map dependent to some extent thing. Not completely, but can be map dependent. No, not check lights. Even 90s. Kind of. I don't know. We can talk about that.
No, I think even 90s get even 90s as the opposing player. 9 times out of 10 that I've seen.
All right, Obandu's on the track. It's not specifically the XM57 I'm talking about.
But it is shit. I hate seeing that tank.
But what is it about the XM57 and what it gets often matched against that causes the problem?
Oh, it's a TD, isn't it? It gets matched against the casemate.
Okay, yeah, you're on track. The armored TDs versus the glass cannons, especially on, say, city maps or places where you're going to have a brawl. You get a team that has 2 XMs, you get a team that has 2. Yeah, Ked, you mentioned good. Did I miss it? I missed it then. 3. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, 3 girls on one side. There you go. That's causing a bunch of issues right now. Yeah, 7 TVs is a problem too. I don't know how to fix that, Kroll. Yeah, you get, Pilgrim, you get 2 XM57s on one side.
I know.
And you're in Himmelsdorf, and the other side gets a Su 130 and a Scorpion. You're like,
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's.
I think the problem we've got on NA is that we have such a small player base that it's very difficult for the matchmaker not to do that. So if there was a more in-depth or a more deeper reasoning behind MM, and they could go, right, we can't put a glass cannon against an assault TD. With the size of the player base, they've got no choice but to put TD against TD.
I don't think it's a case.
To make it quite.
I'm with you, but I don't think it's a case of each line needs to be matched. But it is a problem when one side gets 3 casemate heavy TDs and one side has, one sort of medium casemate and 2 glass cannons, and you're on a city map. There's just it feels like you could massage it without being completely overbearing, so that you
Yeah.
don't have those kinds of mismatches. And your point may be completely correct. I don't know. Maybe you just don't see it on EU that often because of there's so many people playing, and it just based
yeah.
on the randomness of it, it rarely shows up that way. I will say that.
See, this is the additional problem. It's that on the EU, when you're sitting on each of the 4 EU accounts, there's 50, 60, 70,000 players. The matchmaking makes sense and isn't such a contentious issue. When you've got a small player base, you're invariably, if you're in a tier 6, you're going to see tier 8s because there isn't enough people playing tier 6 to get you a game. So you're going to
Yeah.
get pushed into that. So invariably you're going to see 2 tiers above all the time on the NA because of the size of the player base.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with the Grindle on that. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is the team getting all, the same tank, or
The matchmaker could work that out, yeah.
or getting all the assault TDs. It feels like you could.
Yeah.
There's other classes and situations you guys are chucking out there. You got the heavy mediums versus the light mediums. One side has 2 Barasks and the other one has a Type 59 and a T44 or something.
No, go, yeah. But I do, to be fair with the ELC, come back to the ELC.
Yeah, what do you do about that?
Well, I invariably see ELC against ELC. I never see, well, I say never, that's not a good word, but I very rarely see like a Hawk against an ELC or another light tank, one of the VKs or whatever. Invariably, if you've got 2 people with an ELC, you'll get them on the opposite teams.
I think the reason you don't. All right, Mr. Stranger Danger, let me know what it is. Yeah, chuck it out there. I think with the ELC, the reason you see so many ELC v ELC is, and this is another problem, it's because it's played so much.
Yeah.
It's like it's the most played light tank, other than the Squall, which is brand new, but it's over time, it's just the most played, because it is the best tier 8 light tank that there is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Grendel. Yeah.
They're already doing it, so you think they would. Yeah, so exactly, Kedge, 100%. They're already doing that in some cases. The problem is if you get so far down that road that you're doing all this crazy matching, once you, and I do appreciate them trying to hold the floodgates back, Pilgrim, where they don't, cave into everyone's little, all right, this has to be matched and that has to be matched. So you certainly can go too far.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I know the answers to all this. What I'm saying is, from the user's perspective, it's the mismatches are getting worse just based on the power creep and the tanks that they have out there and what is popular to be played. And maybe there's no fix to it, and that's just a very mature game ending, starting to plateau and head on the way down. I don't know.
Sure.
Discuss the top 5 player premium tanks in the game based on discuss why they are, if they're OP. Okay, so narrow it down a little bit for me. Particular tier or just the top 5 overall? And are we only going to talk premium, or are we also going? God, I'll spit it out. Are we also going to talk reward? I don't want you to tell me which ones to talk about necessarily, but we could I could look at all of them and go, here's what I think are the top 5 premium tanks, or premium and reward, or just top 5 tanks, which is going to be premium and reward, right? We're not going to we're not going to run into any.
It could also be Tech Tree.
We're not going to, but it's not going to be Tech Tree.
No, it's not going to be Tech Tree. No.
No.
Let's start with T95. There's your first one. The medium, not the TD, the medium one. T95, whatever it is, the Britain one.
Yeah, the stock grinds do bring down some of the premium stats for sure, 100%. We could go through it. I'm not going to dig into it right now. There are some tanks that some Tech Tree tanks that do hold up pretty well against premiums for sure. Rate your bout? I don't know, Fuzzy. I don't think so, because what we talked about last week. Maybe everybody here is being very honest, and they're like, oh, I lost, but that was a good battle. Thumbs up. I feel like most people who are casual players, who would be most of the players, are going to go, I lost, bad battle. I lost because matchmaker was bad. That wasn't me. But I won. Ooh, yeah, that was good. You know, I feel like people are going to lean towards, even if they win, choosing bad battle just to grind the axe.
Well, I've done that for every single battle. I've put shit battle, shit battle, shit battle, shit battle.
See, you're not being part of the solution, Pilgrim.
No, I'm not part of the solution. I just think every game I have is crap.
You're just.
If I'm not getting 4,000 damage and 8 kills every game, I don't want to know.
If only Matchmaker hadn't screwed me over.
Yeah, it should be. There should be no matchmaking.
If Matchmaker wasn't bad, I would have a 97% win rate and average 10,000 damage a battle.
Absolutely.
That's because that is the kind of gamer I am. Bro, are we even serious right now? Matchmaker and RNG. If I got better RNG, if Wargaming wasn't nerfing my account with bad RNG, could you imagine? I would probably win 157% of my battles. I would win so many battles that I'd win 57% of your battles.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You would take away from the worst players.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I would be taking other people's wins.
Yeah.
All right. Catching up with chat, guys. Tons of may need to weight tanks by maps. Yeah, man, now we're getting into some very serious reworking and some very, I think, a lot of subjective stuff that I don't know. Do you think the new raid of battle? Yeah, we talked about that. Always give thumbs down, says Wayne. Any blowout? Yeah. Stock grind, tier 10. Well, I like the mixes, Kedge. He brings up a great point, and I completely agree. I like the randomness of the game. We've talked about in the past. I like the randomness relatively of the matchmaker. I just feel like sometimes it makes nonsensical things happen. And you might just go, well, that's just the roll of the dice, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's true. Maybe it's better that way. Game I got in on Guido, but made it work. It does, yeah. And when you come out on top of those, if you take that as a challenge and you come out on top, that's actually pretty good. But that being said, a lot of times you can look at your tank makeup and go, this is going to be tough, and I don't have high hopes for it. And then you get to the end, you're like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected to have happen. They had the XM57s, and unfortunately for me, their 3 XM57 players were aggressive. They went to the heavy brawl, acted like heavies, and just rolled over our heavy area, while our glass cannons hung out in the back on Ruinberg. You're like, well, that's kind of what I expected to have happen.
Yeah. You can see, I mean, we've had this conversation before. Generally, you can see within a couple of minutes of the battle, unless it's a 15-1 rollover in 3 minutes, you can see which way it's going. And at that point, it's very difficult to influence any difference.
Yeah.
As much as you go, when you're flanking, go back, that's great. But when you're like 3 or 4 minutes in and you can start to see it happening, it's so difficult to influence a change in that. You end up just doing damage farming at the end.
Yeah, I've actually talked about, and I think I have a couple videos coming up about that same subject, that, that's what we always preach. Like, all right, find a way to get a bit of damage. But honestly, sometimes your initial position can be compromised depending on the map and the position on the map. You may not be able to get anywhere else, And you're like, okay, I will try to get that one last shot as I get pushed. And that was a good initial position because that's where you needed to be. But your team, for whatever reason, whether it's some kind of complete overmatch or unlucky, somebody got ammo racked and you're down a tank quick, that kind of stuff, and then you're just like, well, I'll just have to do what I can do. So it's one thing to say, yeah, always fall back and have a plan, but it's another thing to look at the current situation in the match here and go, shit, I can't do that. I'd love to, but I can't.
That applies quite a lot when it comes to the slow heavies. If you're in a Brit, for example, the Churchills and all that lot, you've got to pick your position and go there because there's no flexing in those things. Unless you've got all the time in the world, which you won't have if you're reacting to the other flank being collapsed. I mean, trying to get back. So you end up just holding position in that case.
Yeah.
Whether it was a good choice or not.
Yeah.
You know?
And I actually do have some videos coming up on that about patience. One example of patience working out pretty well based on the situation and making a good assessment. The other one, no amount of patience was going to help you. Like I was in a good position, I was being patient, but everyone's melting, and it was a place that I didn't really have a lot of options to move to another place.
Yeah.
And when I did, I paid for it a little bit, and I got some damage out of
start to
it.
lose
But the
your
rest of the team
balance,
melted. And I'm just like, well, you just kind of try to do what you can do, you know. Changing the spotted timer down to 2 seconds. I don't know, Oldsman. 442. Rarely do I get killed because I didn't know I was spotted in time, and usually when I do, it was a really risky move. Like poking a place I know that I'm like, I'll probably get spotted, I might take some damage, but you get hit, then tracked and blown up. So I don't know. Maybe. Balance tank already rolls a sign. Yeah. FCM is a top tier versus T56. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, Grendel, right? If it's not a case of me saying, Pilgrim, you look at the match, you look at the matchmaker and the teams, and all right, this is an auto loss. But I think there's value in going, man, this is not a great situation. Let me have a different plan, or at least know that I have to be really careful because I don't want to step out in front of that Skoda. And then when you notice he's camping, or he's gone to another flank, or he's in a bush in the back, you're like, all right, that opens things up.
That's exactly the point I was trying to make there, is that when you look at the team makeups at the beginning, you think, oh, look at that, that's going to be so hard. And then those tanks that you expected to go to the heavy brawling area didn't turn up there. They were on the other flank. You're like, oh, this is good. So you can clear what you needed to do being a heavy on the heavy brawling area and then come back and do what you need to do. That's a great game, in my opinion, just because the enemy didn't do what you think they were going to do. So they actually, they cut the nose off to spite the face doing that,
Yeah, absolutely. And those could be great. Like you said, those can be amazing games where you're able to figure that out. And what is that? And get away with it. I mean, you just made a good decision, right? And you paid attention to what was going on. But sometimes it doesn't happen, right?
No,
sometimes
exactly
you go through that whole thing, which you should, and at the end of the day, you're like, well, the Skoda's in the right place. He went to the right place. That's unfortunate. And now he's kicking my arse. And oh, by the way, the rest of his team went with him because they or at least enough of the team assessed that he's the big dog, and we're going to go help the big dog. And he's aggressive and good, and they're assisting. You're like, holy cow, that's awesome from their perspective. Like I'm on my back foot with these guys because they're doing what, and you can, I say it on the stream sometimes. Like, oh, this is not what I needed to have happen. Like that's exactly what I didn't want that guy to do. Even though I fully expected that's what he should be doing. I'm like, well, that's a bummer,
Yeah.
And honestly, that whole discussion is why the game is so good, to be honest. We can complain about it, and we can talk. That's why I couched this whole discussion with, give me small things that are low-hanging fruit, not these giant major movements that probably aren't going to be fixed for lots of reasons. One of them primarily being it's actually good for the game, a lot of this stuff. Not all of it, and not all the time, in my opinion, but it's good. The randomness, the matchmaker, the two-tier stuff, all that stuff. In my opinion, it's all good stuff because that's one of the things we love to hate about it and also like. Because the bottom line is you like to be in the big stompy tank.
Yes, of course you do. You like to be the one that's winning all the time, don't you? I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? That's what competitive play is about.
I mean, being top tier and out fighting their top guys and then stomping their lower tier guys is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to do it all the time. You don't want them to all be rollovers. But it's nice to have the big tank that's the scary tank that other people have to work around.
The most frustrating thing about that is being the big bad guy and then not getting the damage because the rest of your team have got ahead of you and they're getting all the damage.
Yeah.
And you roll out of a game with like 300 damage and you're like, that's like a single shot. I've had one shot all game. Now, my team did great. They're fantastic. They pushed and they won the flank and they saw the other flank was going, so they come back.
Yeah.
And you're in the big bad heavy going, I'm going to get about 6,000
Yeah.
damage here. And you get like 600. You go, that is shit. That is so shit.
Well, influenced by presence.
Yeah.
Influenced by
that,
presence.
That should be something you get on your stats. Presence influencer.
Mr. Danger, I have it. I noted your thing up there. Top 5: Burr, ELC, Sue, Scorpion, and Shrek. All right, we'll look at that. All right, so we'll kind of stick with the tiers. I have considered doing that top tanks and bottom tanks and stuff. I've done a bit of that in the past, but it's always nice to change things up a little bit. Let's see. You only have green dots. Okay, gotcha, Wayne. Good morning, Destructive Dan. How you doing? Get a team that plays as overcoming cloud. Yeah, absolutely. Caught off guard by a leopard going where EBRs normally go. Yep. Too many blowouts, win or lose. I would have to look at the numbers. I always say that I feel like there's more than there has been, and then proven that there isn't really. But it does feel that way, to be honest. Again, feelings.
Yeah, there is swings and roundabouts, Guido. I think if you play a large number of games, like if you play 30 a day or 20 a day or something like that, then I guess you get a better handle for it. Me personally, because I'm running both accounts, I'm playing on each account maybe 10 a day, and it feels as if it's got better.
Yeah.
I don't know, it has.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's not so many rollovers now.
Yeah, that's somebody assessing really nicely, Grindle. And when you get enough of them assessing, and they kind of understand, we got to eat up the rest of the team. Then we'll deal with these two guys who went the standard way, and we all went the other way. Eric Glass and I I did the video on it in Ensk, where I'm like, hey, let's go help the heavy over in the brawl. Heavy didn't go there, so then we got kind of stuck and had to hang out as mediums. So we weren't really where the mediums needed to be, but we held on just long enough to get a win out of it.
Yeah.
So pretty wild, actually. But that's the cool. That's why I like the game.
Yeah, because it is so unpredictable, isn't
Yeah.
it, really? I mean, you could say the predictable is that majority of the heavies will go to the heavy brawling, the majority of the TDs will hang back,
Yeah.
Artie will sit in the red line, Lights will do this. But it's those 10% that do something different. You go, well, that's new. That's
Yeah.
different. Okay.
All right,
Never
Mr. Stranger.
expected to see a mouse doing a scouting job.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, yeah, but be careful with that though. If you're just,
Yeah.
and I've talked about that in videos before. Like, if you're gonna do something different, do it as smart as you can, because
Yeah.
sometimes you just plain old screw your team.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna
Just
do this
roll
very
it.
clever thing, and then you're completely out of position. You didn't go where people normally go, and that ends up being important. Or
Yeah.
or you got countered by exactly the wrong tank of their team doing the same thing. You're like, well, shit, this would have worked except for that guy's there.
Happened before. Yeah. I've had that happen where heavies have gone where not to the heavy brawling area on your own team, and you're thinking, oh, this is an immediate loss. And then the enemy heavies all turn up to the wrong place as well. You're like, well, that's interesting. Did they talking to each other now?
I have a chopper game. I think I'm going to show it on proc where I outspot every other light tank on the game. And it's not like there weren't light tanks. I think there were even 90s on that one.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a super crazy amount of spotting, but it's more than they got. So we're going to show you that. All right. Let's check out. We've got some upcoming stuff here, so let's check out.
You've just had a follow. Who was that? Dave.
Oh, fantastic! Where was that?
That's further back. Sorry, I missed it.
No, you're right. I did. That's over here on this thing. Hold on. It was Dave's 7:30. Thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Welcome.
Cool.
All right. So map changes and stuff. We got some things coming up here. This says Sand River map changes, but that is clearly not Sand River. But it is Fjords. Fjords. All right. Well, spotting is how do I want to put this? Spotting is, I mean, it's situational, I guess, is how I want to put it. You don't have to be a light tank to spot. It depends on the situation on the map, the part of the battle.
Yeah.
You know, spotting is more about where you position yourself and your ability to move forward than it is about being a scout or a medium or a heavy. The scout and the medium can get themselves into the positions a little better, but the positions are the positions.
And also, I guess the difference is your camouflage difference. So, I mean, if you are in a position to spot in a heavy, you're more than likely being seen all the time anyway. You're not.
Well, that's the part about being able to get to the positions a little better.
Yeah.
But you can still get enough spotting. If you look at the spotting distances, most tanks are more or less the same.
Similar, yeah.
You know, yeah, you can get some of those outlier scouts and CBS and optics and all that, and that is going to help those tanks. But for example, on proc, if the scouts are dead and you're willing to get forward and you have some hit points to get to those positions, if you have to expose yourself, and if you get up underneath them and do the right things, you can come up with a decent amount of spotting. Because most people are just going to sit back going, "I can't spot. I'm a heavy." Well, you know what? You're the scout now, dude. Because that's all there is.
Yeah,
you know?
That's all there is. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you get a little aggressive and you saved your votes for late in the game, you can gobble up some late game spotting. You know? All right. Cool. So Fjords is going to have some map changes. And here they are. This is the fight up on the hill. So they've removed some bushes and trees down here. This ramp has changed. We'll get to that in a minute. This rock outcrop is gone and pushed forward to here. Although this picture is a little further back, so it's a little. These are not exactly from the same position, I don't think, picture-wise, right? Because I can look. That sort of irritates me that they don't. Although these two look exactly the same, so maybe they've actually moved around this hill. I guess they've moved this hill around a bit. Interesting.
They must have done. Yeah.
Because this all looks, it looks like the same position, but this mountain's not as high or come as far to the left. That means the artillery must be able to hit in here a little easier now. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. That's interesting. And then this is the approach, which had all these trees, and now has more terrain, but trees are gone and a couple bushes here for spotting, I guess. So that's okay. I don't know how this changes this a whole bunch. You know, getting into low points that have high ground above them and artillery, that's just a non-starter.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see. This is this picture from the other way. Here's the old one, the ramp that goes up. But now it's been widened out in here. The theory being that this side has a better ability to fight the hill, but still you're fighting uphill, and that's just never good in this game. You don't want to fight uphill in this game.
No.
You know. So we'll see how much change that has. This is another picture of the same area. As you can see, it's flattened out. It doesn't have this big. I don't know. This doesn't look like a major change. There's a bit of extra bump right here for whatever good that does. Maybe to protect people crossing from getting shot a little bit. This is hard to see much of a change, but it's right here. It looks like it's steeper. You see my mouse now, sorry. It looks like it's steeper right here on this point. So you're not getting shredded from the hill above as hard anyway. Looks like there's maybe a little bit of cover there. So that's all right.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Fjords. Looks like RU's getting another Russian TD line. If you read the historical references, a lot of these were actually built. Kind of surprised they're not in the game anyway. Those are things that were built. Here's Ensk, Super Ensk. See, the current footprint is this red line right here. And then it's hard to see, but the red line is now this big. And there's a bit of a river, so it's incorporates some of the river. Some more buildings. Here's the middle brawl right here. So you've actually got a considerable amount of room over here. And central now is this road, which what used to be the side road. And it goes another block or two over to the left. And way over to the right, this field feels much larger, although there's a river on the edge of it. So that's very interesting. So here's some specifics. What are we looking at? Oh, these are the new pictures. So that's the field. You see, it's got much more going on. More trees over here for lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the river bit. Oh, it looks like you can cross the river, actually. I was going to say, is this just dead? Look at that. You can cross the river and get over here if you want.
All right. That's
Huh.
interesting. That's interesting.
Assuming there's a corollary on the other side.
That was always a consideration there because I remember when it first came out, that map, I did try to cross that river, but thinking that the bank the other side was climbable, but I don't think it ever was. So they've changed that. That's cool.
More field stuff here. What did they do here?
They did, Grendel. It's all about the SPGs and how they can drown.
This kind of looks like less tanks, or less trains. Looks like there's more ability to
That'd be
cross.
better. That'd be better because that is a better. That is more of a play area now
Yeah.
rather than there was just funnels. It was just funnels for taking those easy shots down. You know, if you can get in and play in amongst there, that could change things. To be honest.
They have really widened out that central courtyard. This looks to be the central courtyard right here.
Oh, the triangular one. The triangular.
No,
shape.
the square one in the middle.
The square one in the middle. Oh yeah, it has, hasn't it? Cleared all the buildings from it, haven't they?
Yeah, that courtyard's right up here. This is, see how narrow it was?
Yeah.
Now it's widened out here.
Yeah.
And you've got some of these stupid ramps. So remember there was a ramp on one side,
Yeah.
but not on the other. Now it looks like both sides have ramps. Where is this?
Hitman got banned for drowning. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you drowning on
you-
purpose? Because if you were, you
Like-
deserved it.
Yeah, if you were an SPG and you drowned on purpose,
Ain't gonna lie.
good on them.
Ain't gonna lie. It doesn't hurt. What banned me one day for drowning 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? They start. Must have to do it a lot. Yeah, Hitman. I don't know, man. I don't know if I would. You're not going to get a lot of sympathy. If it was an accident, you got all my sympathy. Then that's BS. If you're flanking on purpose, I'm going to I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to give you a lot of sympathy for drowning on purpose.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
All right. So there's that.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better at end game when you're in an arty and you're the only thing left is that somebody comes to try and take you out thinking, oh, it's just arty, I'll get myself another kill. And you one-shot him. There is nothing better than that. I just laugh. And it's about the only time I ever feel really compelled to chase the geezer into the garage and going, one shot you in an arty, you know.
I like ramming light tanks with Artie at the end game. Who are being not careful. They come screaming in. They're not careful enough, and you surprise them with a little mobility and ram them.
Yeah, absolutely.
SPGs turn blue. I have actually turned blue in an SPG because you're shooting into where your buddies are and you're stunning your own people. It doesn't take a whole lot, actually. Drawn on purpose, but it was a 3-minute shit show. 15 versus me in 3 minutes. It's lost time to play that game. Well, just drive out and shoot them then, man. You don't have to drown. Just drive forward and blap somebody.
You might shotgun somebody. You never know, do you? That's the fun of it.
All right, here's Sand River. Most of it has to do with this middle spot that they're trying to make playable.
Well, they can't, can they? Because it's so wide and open that it's a free. With the vision mechanics you've got in the game, it's just a wide open space.
Well, the major problem with all that idea is the two TD sniper nests on each cap
Exactly.
have lines of fire in there. Nobody wants, and plus artillery. Nobody wants to go fight just because you built more little divots. Nobody wants to be in those divots anyway. And it's only late game, or if you're pushing a cap and trying to spot and maybe find those guys on the hills, on the sniper spots. But just because you widened it out a little bit and made a couple more divots, I don't see anybody wanting to play there.
What they need to do is either have undulating sand dunes, many of, really deep, really high, so they're like mini hills, so you can play that sort of a sneaky cat and mouse game in the middle with the mediums.
Yeah.
Or they get rid of the sniper nests.
And maybe
you can use it.
maybe they're high enough to do that. I don't know. But right now you don't wander around this part of the map because you
No,
get
sure.
shredded.
No, you're dead. You're dead in minutes, seconds, even.
And just kind of flattening out the rest, it doesn't make me really want to be in there anyway, or push across those and try to find those guys because there's nothing to hide in. There's some bushes, we'll see, maybe, I don't know, but I don't see that
No.
doing a whole big change. You said took the
That's one of those maps where that whole part of the map is just useless. You know, you get the scout that'll skirt the top of the dune, but apart from that, it's just a useless piece of map. Really.
You know, if it does
Gameplay.
give you cover, that'll be okay, Grendel. But the problem is it's so open that artillery is just going to thump you, and they're going to outspot you. Every time you poke up, you don't have a bush; they're in a bush, so it just becomes a non-starter. Nobody's going to want to go there because they're just going to get outspotted and thumped. I don't know. Maybe it'll make that fight a little more interesting. Oh, the back way. I see what you're talking about. Look at that. He's right. That climb is
Where?
gone.
Where?
Look, they cut off the climb.
Yeah, it has, isn't it? Yeah.
Did they cut?
Okay, so there's a dune in the way now.
Did they cut off the other side too?
Well, that's going to make that top end of the map different and very interesting to play.
It's gonna suck though.
You're not. People aren't going to go there. That
No.
flank is going to be left alone, isn't it?
Huh. I mean, yeah. Look at that. Look at so that whole climb is gone from this side, and presumably from the other side. I mean, why would they leave the other sides and get? I mean, then it becomes who cares if you went up there then. You know what I mean? If you're holding them here,
Yeah.
they can drive up that hill. There's nothing up there, so they can go
No.
drive up the hill and take it if they want. But if you're here holding, I don't know. It's just an alcove now? Okay. All right.
That's forcing the play into the middle, but that's going to be absolute pants, isn't it? Because you're going to get sniper hit from the two sniper nests.
I mean, that's
And
just...
I think that'd make it worse. People won't go there at all now.
I mean, it's basically turning into the same fight as the other side, where you're on the sand dunes poking and hold down bullshit and getting thumped by artillery because there's no cover. And
Yeah.
ugh. At least there was cover from artillery kind of up there that you could get.
Oh,
Yeah.
and also there was good gameplay up there. You know, there was a hold down positions, there was the push position, there was the you could hide behind a rock at the top of the corner and just fire down into the map. Well, that's just got rid of all that, then, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. I'm not really sure what they're getting at here.
It does, Coronel Potter. We need deep water in Oasis so Artie can drown.
Is there no water deep enough? I haven't tested the waters on Sand River, but you might be right. Maybe there is no water quite deep enough. Maybe your ELC even 90 or your ELC can drown.
Yeah.
So changes to those, and I don't think there's much else, fellas, in here. We talked about Rambo. That's what RU stuff, so it doesn't matter to us. Oh, 6 assembly shop. End of February is the leak, and apparently it's the DBV 152 Czech Tier 10 TD promotional is what you will build. Last time it was a million free experience. If it's, I don't know if it's still a million or what they're going to do, but that's why I converted on the last good conversion. I seriously doubt they're going to do another one. They might do a 1 to 35, don't know. But there you go. If you're planning on just using free experience, it's a million. Last time. We'll see what it is this time. But that's the rumor for the tank, and it says end of February. February. Which makes sense.
Yeah. Because this battle pass is only a quickie, isn't it? It's only
Yeah, it only goes to the 30th.
30th.
Yep. And I think, the battle pass. Apparently the leak for the 2 battle pass tanks for the first battle, or for this year's battle pass, is the Iraq 105 Proto, which is a wheeled Tier 9 light tank, presumably with the same turn up your own arsehole mechanics as the other French light tanks.
Yeah, it will be, won't it? Yeah.
And the Object 260, because what we needed was a better Tier 9 EBR.
Oh yes, of course we did.
Although it's the 3-wheeled version. It's kind of like the Lynx. It's got 3 wheels instead of 4, like the EBR 90 does.
So it won't have the extra. It won't have the extra mobility then, will it?
Well, see, the physics are funny with this. One of the reasons the EBRs turn so stupidly fast is they're longer. They have a longer wheelbase.
Yeah.
So when you get
okay.
that angle, they swing around like crazy. Whereas the Lynx is a shorter
Sure,
wheelbase,
Shorter wheel.
so it doesn't quite spin up its own arse. I mean, it's completely counter to how the actual physics would work, but based on the way they've mech'd it in the game, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So the 3-wheel is probably not going to be quite as maneuverable, I think, as the 90.
Okay.
But the other one is the Object 265T, a Tier 9. Is that a heavy or a medium? Heavy tank, rear mounted, with good gun depression.
With a 3-shot magazine, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which has pretty good depression. I guess it's a development of the T10. That's what it says. And I think that's basically it, fellas. More flamethrower tanks, and what are you? I saw a video on that, and they're like, you do not want this gameplay. Apparently, it's just complete cancer. They just go hold down and flame each other because you don't necessarily have to hit anything. You just aim at them, and you lose hit points because you're in the cloud. You're in the cloud, yeah.
Yeah.
The rumor, I think actually, is it Kedge? It's one of you guys said this, and I've seen it in a couple other places. And we talked about it 2 weeks ago with the whole 2025, autumn of 2025. That the double barrel tanks are going to be the last major mechanic added to the game, and it's going to go into more of a what is it? Maintenance mode.
Yeah. Because they've got rid of a whole department, didn't they?
Yeah. That's the rumor. And then we've got the whole video they put out about September or whatever it is, 2025, something big happening there. Yep. Issue in this. Why do I not play flying games? Since I do play DCS a bit. I do have some videos.
Yeah.
Sergeant Major Rock. I've got some. If you go and you look in the playlist and find my DCS playlist, there's quite a bit in there. Probably 10, 12 videos or so. Messing around with DCS. I have to be careful with DCS. I can do BFM and ACM. And when I start doing the BBR stuff, I kind of have to not do that. Just based on having actually done it, I guess, and all the things you can assume with that. Well, I don't stream it.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting involved in that, do you?
I've streamed it a couple times. My problem is if I go to a server that has BVR,
yeah,
I don't want to be doing stuff that I do at work.
No.
So, not that it's a game, not that you can do all this stuff anyway. It's just it's better to just leave that and not even make it an issue.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You've got to think also about how. I don't want to get too heavy, but you don't want to be bringing in tactics that you're teaching at work
Correct.
into your gaming.
Correct.
In any way.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful. That's why I just do BFM and ACM because that's just BFM is BFM. There's nothing magic about BFM. It's energy management and G and all that
One
stuff.
loop, 2 loops, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Single circle, 2 circle. That's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's gamer BFM, so there's a lot to that. So great question from Grendel. I'm gonna say no. Not that I'm saying just because you're a fighter pilot you can pick up a video game and kick anyone's butt. What I'm saying is if you play a game and get good at it, then being a fighter pilot and playing a fighter game with fighters can be an advantage because if you're willing to play it according to the best way to play the game, then your knowledge of, for example, BFM, which is very applicable to DCS, even though it's not a perfect analog to actual BFM in the air, I can use the concepts and the stuff I know, and I'm pretty decent at it. If I played it a bunch more, I'd probably be a lot better. There are plenty of gamers who will absolutely wax the floor with me in DCS BFM because they know how to maximize the game, which is just gamer stuff.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Just like if a gamer got in a jet they would have a good idea of some of the BFM stuff, but they'd get waxed by an actual fighter pilot because they just haven't done it with the G's and all the other stuff. So it's one of those questions that is a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've BFM'd gamers and got absolutely obliterated. That happened regularly against Low Blow.
Yeah. Well, Low Blow is a bus driver,
Yeah.
and yet he could fast jet fantastically. You know, I mean,
Easily, a few years ago, one of the best DCS BFMers there was.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely great at the DCS BFM game.
Yeah.
100%. Now I could
This-
beat him once in a while, and I barely played the game, but I knew BFM.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
He flew 130s.
Yeah.
He used to did. He was a Aussie Air Force.
He was. He now lives in a Martello Tower.
He was also a balloon pilot at one point.
Yes. His first, bless him, he went through all the training, and he did his fast jet training and all that sort of good stuff. Became a pilot, passed out of whichever college he passed out of, and his first posting was to a balloon squadron.
I was going to say I'm actually overselling him by saying he was a pilot.
Yeah.
He was a balloon ground crew.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Didn't even go up in it.
He was unskilled balloon ground crew.
Oh, dear.
He
God
was
bless him.
he was a blimp folder essentially. Oh man.
That came out. I don't think he meant to tell us that, but that came out on the journey down to Tank
Yeah.
Fest, didn't it? So, he'll never live that down ever.
But that whole discussion, Grendel, is pretty fascinating. It's something I do on the side with virtual reality and AR and simulation and stuff since I've been doing that job in the Air Force and as a civilian for 30 years. The whole idea of what you can get out of simulations. You know, they had that kid that was it F1 or IndyCar? I think F1, but he played. Can't believe I can't remember the name, but one of the games that's one of these simulations that tries to be very true to the real world. And he was really good at it, won some tournament, and then he got to train, and it turns out he was actually a pretty good driver, and I think he drove for a while.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know what he's doing now. I'm not sure if he lasted or not, or whether he actually won anything, but he actually drove in some races.
I think there's a slight difference when you start thinking about flying, because, I mean, not saying everybody, but 90% of the people in the world can drive a car. Can they drive it well enough to do Formula One? Probably not.
Yeah.
But so you can go on a game and already have a feeling for how the vehicle will act because you're a driver. If you're not a pilot, you've got no idea how a plane operates, works in the yaw, the Y, Z, and X axis, and all the rest of it. I mean, when I get onto DCS and I get in that first Soviet Russian plane, I invariably end up upside down on the runway because I don't know which side is up. I've got no idea.
I can teach anyone how to take off. I can teach most people how to land.
Yeah.
But that's not what a fighter pilot does.
No.
Taking off and landing and navigating and communicating and getting your jet from point A to B is assumed that you're very good at that.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares how your landing was or what a hero you were in the circuit in the overhead. It's assumed that you do that very well and you get your damn jet on the ground and all that. What distinguishes a fighter pilot is how he operates the aircraft, how he employs it.
Absolutely.
You know, how you get
Absolutely.
get into a WES, your tactics, how you fly your tactics, the BFM, the ACM, all your BVR stuff, all your comm, all your tactical stuff. That's the hard stuff if you're a fighter pilot to do well. Flying around and taking off and landing, nobody gives a shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's a given, isn't it?
Right.
It's a given.
And it's not a given that, you just barely were able to. That's not it at all. You better be damn good at it, but also nobody's going to pat you on the back for your good landing. Nobody gives a shit about your landing.
No. You're more than likely, if you land hard, you're going to get absolutely murdered in the crew room. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if you can't even fly the jet normally, You're probably
Yeah.
not going to do it tactically, and you're gone. You're gone. But if simulations weren't useful, we wouldn't use them for training. But we do,
Well,
don't
that's
we?
the other point, isn't it? They
Yeah,
are
we
used
use
to
the
that.
shit out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for
Yeah.
for concepts and procedures, they're fantastic. Even for air-to-air BVR stuff, that we use them for that. They're fantastic for listening to the comm, for watching for being able to check out the tactics and all the things you do.
Yeah.
But of course, at some point, you got to get the guy in the jet, and he's got to have the smells and the heat and the noise and the
Yeah, yeah,
the,
and the stress.
and the
that
stress
comes
and the
on top of that.
G's,
Yeah, yeah.
and dealing with the weather and dealing with ATC, and you've got 3 wingmen because you're flying a 4-ship, and you got to manage the fight, and you got to get them out, you
Yeah.
got to get them back safely, and someone has an EP. It just the list goes on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You will land it one way or the other, Eric Glass. That's a fact.
Yeah.
You are landing. Much like that kid that stole what was it, a King Air, I think? In the northwest up in Seattle or Portland. So he worked for the airline. I think he was some kind of ground crew guy. And stole it. No kidding, got in, started it up, stole it, flew around talking to ATC, doing all kinds of acro in it that it was not rated for, and then crashed and died.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, crashed
That's
on
what
purpose,
I
it
meant.
appears.
All right.
Just ran himself
Oh,
into the
okay.
ground. But there's videos of it with the comm and people taking pictures of him as he flew around really low, just joyriding in this thing, little twin turbo, and unreal, man. Yeah, they still don't. He just snapped one day, but he's chatting quite congenial with the ATC.
Well,
you know?
there isn't a key, is there? There isn't an ignition key with a jet, is there? So it's not like you can't lock it, I suppose.
No, yeah, absolutely. They're just sitting there. I mean, you got to know how to do it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but he's like, oh, I played flying video games, so he knew how to fly
You know how to fly. Yeah.
the basic concepts.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was probably over speeding the engines and the props, and the airplane held together, and he did a barrel roll and all this stuff, that the airplane just wasn't rated. He's probably lucky he didn't tear the wings off anyway, but eventually he ends up crashing. I wonder if I have it here.
It's so funny though. Apart from the fact the guy died, that's not funny. But
Yeah.
it's so funny that you can joyride in a plane.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Just jump in a plane, get out of Duxford, and just jump in a Hurricane or a Spitfire. Tally ho! See you later.
There you go. There's a million videos of it on YouTube, but there's one right there. Hey, did you know we got TikTok banned in the States?
Yes, I read that this morning on the news.
Yeah.
Do you know what is quite ironic about that is that they banned TikTok because of the possible connections to the Chinese government being able to get a lot of data on the US. And there's a protest group from TikTok that are now purposely going out and joining Chinese social medias.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the old sign up saying it's banned. But it's so funny that people they're actually joining the state social media in China now out of spite for being banned on TikTok.
Look, I would be fine. I would be fine if these guys had any kind of moral compass or
Yeah.
ethical consistency. If they went, you know what, all of these apps and social media companies are stealing people's data or taking it and selling it. They're all doing it. All right, here's some laws
Of course
about
they are.
what you can and cannot do. Now they have some, but they're not very stringent. So if that was your ethical and moral stance, that all apps need to abide by these things, then that would be one thing.
Yeah.
But TikTok, it's national security and the Chinese are stealing our stuff. Like, all right, well, what about the other 42 apps? There,
Yeah.
4,200 apps or whatever it is that are doing the same thing from other countries. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
look,
yeah.
I
And
get
there's
it.
There's other social media out there which plays fast and loose with your data. I mean, it's just. The thing is, the internet is unregulated, so you can't do anything about it.
Well, it shouldn't be. It's free speech, man. Like, oh,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can't we
exactly.
can't let you we can't let you see the Chinese app that's doing it. You know what? Okay, what? Why? That's what I'll look at any damn thing I want to. Free
Yeah.
man. This is a free speech thing, bro. Just because you don't like it has nothing to do with it. Oh, well, it's national
No.
security. They're stealing data. Okay, really? So my bank app isn't doing the same freaking thing.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Let's have a little bit of ethical and moral. What's the word? Can't think of it.
I mean, all of those apps on there have stolen my data.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Exactly. But of course, with this one, they're like, well, that's not really the point. The point is it's a spy app from China. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, sure. Wow. Well, we got other problems then. There's a lot of other apps that are probably doing the same thing. So get busy, Congress. Get busy. You go find all the spy apps.
I like to say of politicians, can you seriously not find something more worthwhile to get involved in instead of shite?
Here's what they don't
How
like.
about?
Here's what they don't like, and they would ban X tomorrow if they could. They don't like that there's people on there that are telling angles of stories that are not the angles of stories they want. Narratives is the word, but I'm going to use angles of stories because I'm not saying everyone's narrative is the right one. Just because it's opposite the government or opposite someone. That's not the point. Everyone has a different view. What they didn't like about TikTok is people were getting different information from different sources than they wanted. And by God, they would ban X and everything else they could tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is the one this was low-hanging fruit, so they went after this one first.
Yeah.
And they're all hypocritical dirtbags. Cannot stand any of them. In fact, the guy...
Probably every member of Congress it was a user of TikTok. Every member.
Yeah. Well, a good number of them. The guy that's my local guy, I will never vote for that guy again. Ever.
I don't bother with. I mean, the sad fact is, it's my unalienated right to vote for who I want to govern me. So I shouldn't give it up that easily. But I don't vote anymore because I haven't found a politician in any of the parties that present themselves on voting day that match my aspirations, my wishes, my way of
Exactly.
thinking. None of them. So I'm like, you know what? You don't get my vote. None of you do. Sod you.
Well, Sergeant Rock, that's my point. It's all spyware. So
It is,
so
yeah.
making a moral stand on one, where's your, not you, when I say you, but where's the moral stance on the rest of them?
Yeah.
And it's not a moral stance because what it really is, it's been couched in national security. It's Chinese spyware. They're fine with the American spyware that's listening to me right now and will give me an ad if I say something like bathing suit. I'm looking for a bathing suit. I really should shop for a bathing suit. I think I'm going to need a bathing suit if I go to the beach. When I go to the beach, I'm going to need a bathing suit. Hey, honey, would you like to, should we go buy some bathing suits? I promise you I'm going to get a bathing suit ad relatively soon.
Absolutely you will. Absolutely you will.
Kedge, I like how you've lightened things up.
Yes.
I do need a bathing suit for the
Yes.
hot tub stream.
I need a hot tub. In fact, I need a country that I need to live somewhere where a hot tub would be useful.
You know what the best suit for a hot tub stream would be? One of those big Tyrannosaurus Rex blow-up suits.
Yeah.
Sit in the hot. That thing would be all like, because you'd be sitting there, so the arms and the big head would be there, and you'd be in the hot suit, and it'd be like,
Yeah. Or a sumo suit. Yeah, Kedge. Absolutely.
God, you might die in a sumo suit. Like if you get rolled over, you better have someone
you're
around.
You're gonna
Yeah,
drown.
oh.
Yeah, you're gonna drown.
That would be bad. Drowning it. Guy was trying to do a hot tub stream in a sumo
Right
suit, and
upstream.
he flipped himself over and drowned.
Imagine the view. That would go viral, wouldn't it? Though you'd be famous for a day, even if you were dead.
Oh, another subject. Did you get
Excuse me.
Did you get Netflix? I think it's Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you do Netflix? There's
Yeah.
a show out now that was made by the guy who did. I'm trying to think of the movie. Anyway, it's called American Primeval. It's a
Okay.
western.
I'll make a note.
It's brutal. Oh, it's just brutal. You guys seen American Primeval? if you like those kinds of movies that are just very straightforward, I think it takes a lot of liberties. It does not paint the Mormons in a very good light, although it doesn't paint anyone really in a good light.
Okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah. So it was actually I thought it was pretty good. It's a good story. There's not a lot of niceness going on, but I think it's pretty good. And I just started. I hadn't watched this yet. I've definitely seen episodes of it, but I haven't watched Yellowstone all the way through. So my wife and I started that. We got through like 3 last night.
That's brutal. Yellowstone is brutal.
It is pretty brutal. Yeah.
It's I mean, there's no holds barred. It is definitely the Wild West, isn't it?
Yeah, it's some effeminate Hollywood type's fever dream of what Yellowstone in the West would be. But that being said, it is. I will give it entertainment value. It has entertainment value.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk is. Yeah, that one's brutal. I'm trying to think who's the guy that did American Primeval. He did another series that you'd recognize, and it's very much in the same vein. I can't remember the guy's. I'm trying to think. It was right on the tip of my tongue. American Primeval director Peter Berg. Huh. No, that's not the one. Maybe it is.
John Wick.
John Wick, manager of the hotel. All the Native people were not all peace-loving hippies before. Yeah. Well, Grendel, to be honest, at least that part was more realistic than some of the things you see. Here's another one that was weird. Have you watched? It's called Horizon. It's a Kevin Costner thing. So kind of.
Yes, I have. Yes, I've seen. Oh, yeah.
That movie is weird because like the first 45 minutes, you're like, what are we doing here? Who's the character?
Yeah, it's so confusing. So confusing.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't confused as in I didn't. I mean, it was a Western and it was about the town of Horizon, and I got it that the initial guys that were surveying, they got killed by the Indians, and you're like, okay, that's the very big first persons who tried to do that, and then this other group of people were there and they got attacked. But then it pops over to him up in Montana, which is nowhere near this place. I think this place is in New Mexico or southern Utah or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm 45 minutes in, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, who's the character here?
Yes.
And it took 45 minutes to see Costner, but he only rides into a town. And he has like 2 lines of dialogue, and then it goes back to the other people.
Yeah.
And most of those people that seemed like characters, I'm like, oh, it's this family that's nope, they're dead. Okay, well, it's not them.
It's not them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To be fair, it was a good movie in the end. When you get,
Was it? It's like 3 hours.
Yeah, I know, but I sort of got it in the end.
Stick with it. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a 2 or 3 piece. That's it. Game of Thrones, Grendel.
Game of Thrones. Oh, okay.
I think
All right.
Berg did some of the Game of Thrones stuff, I believe, and that was one of the reviews I saw. The guys like, oh, he's trying to make a Game of Thrones and esque with all these.
Kedge is leaving. See you, Kedge.
Oh, Kedge has had enough. He's had enough.
Yeah.
I have too as well. We just kind of got off
You've
on
got to
that.
sort your back out because you've got plants to bring in.
How am I going to do that? I can't lift anything.
Well, you can give orders to the house general, can't you?
Whoosh.
You should have kept one of those whips that you sent me.
You just said give orders to the house general.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's
I
a
do,
non-starter
I
right
know.
there.
I know,
That's a
I mean,
non-starter.
Yeah, I know.
Delegate good luck, right, Jimmy? That's what I'm saying. I'm in trouble, my
Yeah.
friend. Wish you guys pray for me.
Yeah. Just what you want to do is like lift the smallest plant and then make a sort of really bad, painful noise, and she might come out and help. Then
I'm just gonna have to gut it out. I'm gonna have to use legs and be careful.
Oh yeah.
Because I got to move them a decent amount of distance. The problem is that they're gonna go in our little back room. That will save me from having to build a little nest in my shed with a light and all that crap. At least I'll. But then I got plants inside for freaking 4 days because it's just gonna be brutal for 4 days.
And you got to water them and all that lot. Yeah.
That's right, Gator. This is the last you'll see me. My wife will kill me
Yes,
tomorrow.
that's it, yes. Yeah.
No, I'll get
Well,
through it.
you've got a task on, haven't you? You've got a task on. You've got to a video to put together for the review
do.
of those points, haven't you?
I do. I got to try to remember it.
Yeah.
So I got to do that. I've got a couple other videos to make. I got to move plants. I've got to wrap up my 2 spigots that are sticking out of the wall, which should be fine, but I just need to do that. I might even put some stuff in my water meter because it's in the ground, but it's open, so I might just stuff something on top of it just to try to keep
Just in
it.
case.
Yeah, just to make sure it doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
Although it's unlikely, but it could. It's gonna get cold, man.
It is, by the sounds of it. I mean, people are saying because you're not down in the Keys, you will get cold because you're you're closer to Alabama than you are to
Yeah.
the Keys.
Grendel, is that really the right reason to become a Big Brother?
Yeah, Big Brother, free labor, absolutely.
Sir, why is it you decided to come and join us and help us in this charity, Big Brothers Big Sisters? Well, I need some kid to work for me. That's, that may not work. But you don't say it, right? You don't say the quiet part out loud, I think is what he's getting at.
No, you just think it, don't you?
Could hire a handyman. Yeah, I could do that. I could go down to Home Depot.
Yeah, you get one. Put him in the trolley.
You laugh, but that's a thing in the U.S., by the way.
No.
Because of all the immigrants.
No.
Do your immigrants hang out at the big box stores looking for work?
We do, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
the same
I've
thing.
never really come across it like that, no. I just thought they were hanging out to rob you as you walked out, but
No.
That's,
Well,
5%.
I mean, that may be the end result depending on who you pick up.
yeah.
But no, for a lot of times it's actually not a problem. I know subs who will go grab guys if they have some. They need a lot of just no kidding.
I've seen that on I don't know, it's some, I can't remember if it's a YouTube or it might actually terrestrial TV, but I've
Yeah.
seen where you have like a foreman or a gangmaster will stand there and go, okay, I've got these jobs, and
Yeah.
you've got all these people vying for the jobs. Wow, I mean that's
don't-
true economy, isn't it?
I don't know what the technical legalities of it all are. Theoretically, the persons there are legal because you're supposed to be legal to be in the country. So that's your first problem. Are you hiring illegals or
Yeah.
illegals? The second
Yeah.
problem is, it's not necessarily on the sub or the guy paying them. They're supposed to pay taxes and report what you pay them, which
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
happen. So I don't know all the various ins and outs of it.
Yeah, I don't
Crackheads.
think that would. We couldn't make that work here in the UK because of health and safety. They'd be
Yeah.
like, well, none of these people have been trained on how to wear a hard hat, and they haven't got the right.
But I bet people are doing it in your country, like hiring
Probably
Romanians
are.
and
Yeah,
Eastern
yeah.
Europeans to go do stuff like that.
Yeah, probably are.
I'm sure it's a problem.
Probably are. Yeah.
Is it cold in
Probably are.
Calgary, Jimmy? I know. I gotta tell you, when you're homeless and you choose to live in cold climates, that kind of blows my mind.
That's horrible, isn't it? That is so horrible.
I mean, I'm just thinking trying to live on the streets when it's that cold outside. That must be.
No, I mean, I've if, one of my many stories, when back in the day when I was a very young soldier and decided to go on the piss. Basically, that means on drinking. Go on a drinking weekend with my mates, and I've ended up sleeping on a bench in a park because I'm just too drunk to go anywhere else, and it's been winter time and it's cold.
Oh, jeez.
You would never want to repeat that. I mean, cardboard boxes is somewhere to sleep in. It isn't a quilt. It's
Right.
not a quilt. It's not warm. Put it that way.
You roll
So,
over
to
the,
do
with
it-
the newspaper.
yeah, to actually do it because that's your life, man. Oh man, I feel so sorry. For
Well, I've
that.
been that cold deployed and things like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
like World War II in a trench in the Ardennes cold kind of idea, but not far off. Just
Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, just-
Well, you know yourself, the desert's cold at night.
Oh yeah.
Frick, freezing, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Appreciate everybody coming by. Let's find someone to raid. We'll let you guys get on with your Sunday. I got some videos to make and some plants to save and some house to prep for the freeze apocalypse. And I'm gonna have to go out and get some coffee too because we're low on coffee.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's such a first world problem, isn't it? We're talking about sleeping rough and sleeping outside in cardboard boxes, and then we turn up and finish the stream with, yeah, we're running out of coffee.
Oh, I know, man. You
Shit.
gotta got to be honest and appreciate what you got, dude. There's
Absolutely.
no doubt about that. No doubt. I mean, even if the power went out for us, I'd grab a bunch of you know,
I'd self-boil. I'd have a little Bunsen burner.
yeah. Well, I can build a
Something.
fire outside, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
stuff. There's a lot of
absolutely.
stuff we can
Yeah.
do, and we'll
Yeah.
keep warm. But and I feel for the people because we got a decent homeless crowd in this little town because it's a relatively
Yeah, yeah.
warm town. But this next week is going to be brutal for them.
Gonna be
Hopefully,
brutal, yeah,
hopefully they
yeah,
find
absolutely.
some place inside and get to the shelter or whatever. I know that when this happens, a lot of people locally will do a bunch to try to help
Yeah,
them
that's good, though.
have
That's
some place
good.
to be. A lot of them
Yeah.
are there because they want to be, which is
Yeah.
a bummer. But anyway, $8 coffee at Starbucks. Hopefully their power's on and it's warm. First world problems, Jimmy. First world
Wow.
problems. All right, let's find someone to raid. Appreciate you guys coming by. Maybe we'll even get a stream in. I don't know.
At some point, that would be useful.
Let's see here. Oh, we got Trinksy, Skill, Marty, Vol. These are all Lego stream. Doing Legos on stream. Cool.
That's got to be worth watching, hasn't it? Lego, by the way. Legos.
Let's look at World of Tanks channels. There we go. There's not as many people streaming these days, especially Sunday morning. It's pretty light, actually. Usually not a whole lot of people doing their thing. The V Skunk. Lego Watt. That would actually be a good collab for him. And then do a mini game of Lego Watt and the little Lego chips come off
That'd
when
be
you hit
cool.
him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be hilarious.
Imagine the wheeled Lego tank. It would have square wheels, wouldn't it? Dunk, dunk,
One
dunk,
twisted
dunk.
trucker.
That sounds fun.
All right. I get what he did there. One twisted trucker. All right, there we go. Let's do that. Let's go see what he's up to. He's only got one person watching, so. What a benevolent overlord I am.
The great Guido has bequeathed his 45 viewers to.
I'm going to change his life.
Oh dear.
Oh, unable to raid. He must have raids off. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Fair enough.
He just wants to be him and he's.
I guess.
Sod you.
Jeez.
I'm only doing this for me, no one else.
Zotapow. We'll raid him. Boom. Know nothing about him. All right, guys. We're going to go raid Zotapow. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a good week, a good holiday tomorrow. Hopefully you've got it off. Wish us luck on the cold. Enjoy the new patch. And we'll see you guys next week. That is all I've got. Signing off from the left side of the
Signing
Atlantic.
off from the correct side of the Atlantic, sir.
See ya.